This is DJ Rubbish on the ones and twos. And I just come here to let y'all know it's about to get real filthy in this mother.
Alright, we're recording now.
We're live.
Alright.
Stretch it out a bit.
Alright. Don't look at my notes. Yeah, I saw you trying to cheat. Yeah, I knew you would cheat. Alright, this is episode 17. Wow, 17 episodes of ITWT Trust. You can stream on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as watch on YouTube. Today I have a very special guest.
Super special.
One of my favorite people in the world. Matilda is on the episode today. We are coming to you from Los Angeles, Venice to be specific. Traveling episode today to talk about Captain Marvel.
Huge hit.
We'll get into that. We'll get into whether it was a hit or not and how Matti felt about it. But first, and you know, I've been criticized for my long intros and stories and banter at the beginning of the podcast. So I'll try to start with just a brief introduction. Matty's a bigwig over at Nike now. We met at Michigan State freshman year, first semester. We both took a class that we did poorly in.
Didn't read any of the books.
No, and we bonded over our mutual hate for the class. So hate always finds a way to bring people together. I think that's the biggest moral of the story.
I mean, this entire podcast is really just about that.
It's about
honestly.
hate, yes. But yeah, known Matti since first day of classes. Go back to freshman year. And now I've been here for, it feels like forever, but how long have I been in LA? A couple of weeks? Or a couple of days?
Yeah, like 4 days.
Yeah, 4 days. It feels like I've been here a month, which is
He's basically a local now. Let's get real here.
In a good way. In a good way. I mean, I love LA, especially when it's freezing. When I left Detroit, I think it was like 9 degrees or something like that. So,
like 65, sunny,
yeah,
not a cloud in the sky today. So
it's beautiful.
For all my Michigan peeps, what's going on?
So, question. I know. I sent you the itinerary today. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it prior to the episode. Nope. Okay. One thing I want to add, new segment to the show, favorite song of the week. I love music. Music is probably something I love, maybe more than movies, maybe equal.
Okay.
So I want to add a segment in here to get for myself and my guests to provide our favorite songs of the week that you all can later go on and look up.
I'm really happy that I knew about this before the podcast.
You know, and that's why, I sent the information over, and, we were both sitting at the table this morning, and, you're like, oh, thanks for sending this over, and I just kind of assumed you looked at it. What are you rocking out to? It doesn't have to be a new song. Just what song have you just been playing on your phone this week?
Well, honestly, my go-to is always Sunday Candy by Chance the Rapper.
I did hear you play that in the car the other day.
Yeah, I just feel like he's always my go-to, but I know one song that we talked about today, Jackson 5, I Want You Back. I feel like you just really can't go wrong with it.
True.
It's classic.
It is.
Always gets people going, no matter.
I like both of those songs.
Yeah.
My song of the week, because I put some thought into it prior to the recording, was is "Side of You" by Sigrid. Great song, definitely look it up. It's like a pump up type song.
When did that drop? Recently or?
I think within the last couple weeks,
okay.
Maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. But this week I've just been I've really been rocking to it. Really been speaking to me. So that's my song. Go check it out. Also, if you want to check out my playlists from the past years, at the end of every year, like second week of December, somewhere around there, I'll rank my top 100 songs of that year, put them in a playlist I did the past 2 years. So if you want to check out that 17 or 18 playlist on Spotify or Apple Music, it's complete fire. So I would definitely suggest you to look that up.
You'd always used to DJ our college apartment parties.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, man.
It's basically just me, you, and my roommate Liz. So it doesn't get better than that now.
No. I mean, pre-game party, same difference. Guy playing music. So okay, something I was waiting to bring up to you. I almost brought it to you the other day at dinner, and then I was like, you know what? I'll wait for the podcast. It'll be a funny podcast story. And again, I will be brief today with the stories because I do want to get into the movie. Like I said, I feel like the last couple podcasts we've gotten away from the movie review, gotten more into the off-topic part of the podcast,
which is good too.
So first, a few things on the docket leading up to the movie. One, I want to ask you if I'm a bad person for the story I'm about to tell you. So just keep that frame, that lens of like, is Todd a bad person or not? I feel like you're a good person to bounce this off of, get honest feedback from. Okay. So I'm on the plane. Anyone who doesn't know me, I'm extremely...
This is bad when it starts with you on a plane. That's
yeah, exactly. So if you don't know me, I am extremely frightened of flights. Like I get really nervous on flights. I'm a very laid back person, and I don't really get stressed out or nervous about many things at all. For whatever reason, flights. A lot of people say, well, maybe you haven't flown enough. As a kid, I flew all the time. I really liked flights. Somewhere in junior high, for whatever reason, I started getting really nervous. Palms get super sweaty. I don't know what it is. Anyway. I'm on the flight the other day on my way out here. I always get a window seat. One of the things that I use to de-stress and one of like my coping mechanisms is to look out the window as long as I can see the ground. It calms me for some whatever reason. I don't know.
And then when you can't see the ground, what happens?
I mean, I don't like go berserk. Like you don't see the stress on me. Like I hold it all inside, which might be worse. Like if you're just looking at me at the plane, you're not gonna see. Like I'm gonna look normal. Like I'm gonna be sitting there listening to music, chill. But on the inside, I'm struggling. So anyway, on the flight, mom and son get on the flight. Almost last. She's in a different row and seat. He's in the middle, sitting in our young kid. He's probably like 10. He starts crying, realizing that he's not gonna be able to sit next to his mom. So then she's like, yeah, it's like, I'm sure these guys don't want to give up their seat, and sit in the middle seat so that, I can sit next to you. I mean, I didn't even have headphones in to act like I didn't hear. I just like looked out the window like, yeah, like you're absolutely right, ma'am. I'm sorry. When you book these tickets, you made the choice that, hey, either A, you did the lottery thing where it's just like, you just got like the economic tickets where you don't get your seating assignment until the day of, or B, you looked and saw, hey, we're not sitting next to each other, I'm gonna buy them anyway. So whatever the case is, I'm sorry, you made the decision. And
so I'm a frequent flyer. So what airline is this? Just a
Delta. I only do Delta.
Oh yeah, okay.
So she came in and typical Todd, I would just be like, yeah, like go ahead, like you can take my seat. It's not that big of a deal. Todd on the airplane, nervous, I was like, I'm sorry, like if this kid is gonna freak out, like it just is what it is. Like he's gonna be one sad sucker this entire flight. He's just gonna be, and so he's bawling his eyes out, right? And I'm sitting there like, oh, I wonder what movies they have. So sure enough, one of the guys ends up giving up his seat, and I'm like, good, because
that was nice of him.
That was nice of him because he was gonna be that blankie he had over his face was gonna be soaked by the time we got to LA because I was not being phased. But does that make me a bad person, or do I get a pass because I get bad flight anxiety?
Listen, I think everyone's got different circumstances and things like that. I'm normally flying alone, so I'm like, sure, whatever, I don't care. Yeah. And I like flying, so I don't mind. But I've had an experience before where I was sitting on an airplane. Again, this is way off topic. Sitting on an airplane, and this girl asked to hold my hand.
Whoa, what?
Because she doesn't like flying and she's getting nervous. So I'm awkwardly holding her hand. She's sweating, shaking, kind of hyperventilating. And I'm like, hate to say it, I kind of had a long night before, so I was probably a little tired. And I was like, oh, I'm not in this state to deal with someone with airplane anxiety right now.
No.
So I see where you're coming from. Do I think you're a bad person? No, I love you.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you. I just needed that weight off my chest. Other thing, huge announcement, people. Chipotle just introduced a rewards program. So another thing, if you really know me, you know that I hate flights and you know that I love Chipotle with all my heart. So just to give you the background of the details around the rewards program, for every dollar you spend, you get 10 points. Huge. Once you get to 1,250 points, you get a free entree. which for some that might take some time. For me, that's a normal week. And then you get bonus
What's
points.
the math on that? I'm sorry. So how many?
It's about seven. So the average Chipotle is like 730 to 790, depending on what state you're in and what the food tax is like. So that's somewhere around like 16 trips. 16 bowl. If you just get a bowl, like assuming you don't get chips and a drink, that's probably about 16, 17 trips, right? So, yeah, for like.
So basically, just a heads up, everyone, if you're like going to Chipotle with like a work group, you definitely want to be the one paying and getting all the points, right? That's what we're trying to.
Yes,
tell
absolutely.
These people. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely offer to pick up other people's food from Chipotle for sure. Oh, you also get bonus points if you order online. If you order new items. So if you are a person like me who orders the same thing every time, maybe think about switching it up. If you order on certain days, I think right now the days are Sunday and Monday, so I'm assuming those are Chipotle slow days. And then there'll be different bonus and challenges throughout the year that they'll present via the app that you can then go on and see, like, okay, it's bonus if I go to this location or whatever the case may be. I don't know what they're going to be yet, so I won't hypothesize around that, but there will be challenges that you can get even more points.
Will you be starting a podcast about Chipotle in this?
I mean, I hadn't considered that, but I mean, now you might be.
I might be onto
direction.
something.
You might be onto something. Yeah, I could talk. I mean, I can definitely talk about Chipotle for an hour, 2 hours for easy. So just wanted to throw that out there to everyone who loves Chipotle as much as I do. So now, getting into this movie, we went to the theater the other night. One of the trailers that stuck out to me, I've seen the trailer a couple times now when I've gone to the theaters, is this new Godzilla movie.
Frightening.
It looks crap. It looks like a normal like Godzilla film. Like, we're not gonna look at it and it's not gonna win any awards or anything. It might be kind of entertaining, but it's a whole bunch of big monsters causing mayhem, like destroying the world. I bring it up to say, as I'm watching the trailer, I'm thinking to myself, I can write a film. I can write a film. I've said this before. I can definitely write a movie. I can write you a show too. I can get you a good season of a show. Now, coming up with I might be able to pull something out of thin air for the second season as well. But I can definitely give you one good season of a show. But yeah, for sure a movie. Some of these ideas, I mean, I'm looking in, I'm thinking to myself, someone or a group of people went to a person or another group of people to invest in a movie, and they pitched that guy, said, hey, we know it's been like 70 Godzillas, but this is the one.
This is gonna be hot.
This is gonna be the one. We have 11 from Stranger Things in it, and it's gonna be fire. Like, it's Godzilla. It's I know usually he's fighting one other monster. Now it's like 3 monsters. One's in the sea. One whatever. However they pitched it. And a group of people heard that and said, you know what?
Wow.
We're going to give you several $1 million for this.
Yeah.
And if you need some more, let us know. How did they get that off? So I say all this to say, I need to just write. I need to go out there. If you think you can't write a movie, chances are you can't. You just need to find the right people to invest, the right idiots to invest in it. So just throwing that out there. Just wanted to let everyone know that I can write a movie. So,
I mean, if we're reviewing trailers, I didn't know that. I was eating my Kit Kat bar at this point in time, so I'm sorry for her to talk about trailers.
I had to just talk about. No, I just had to bring that up real quick.
About how you're gonna write movies in the future.
Yeah, there was no expectation for you to have. No,
okay.
I like trailers. Okay. Yeah. All right, so getting into Captain Marvel. The movie is about Carol Danvers, becomes one of the universe's most powerful heroes when Earth is caught in the middle of a galactic war between 2 alien races. What was it? The Krees and what was the other name?
The other cute little monsters. We didn't know their names. I didn't know their names.
Yeah. It was maybe they were Krolls. Krees and Krolls.
That sounds about right.
Sounds right. We'll go with that. It came out March 8th, so literally just came out this past weekend. Starring Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury, Jude Law as Jan Rog, and Gemma Chan is in there. She didn't play a huge role. I think she might have had 1 or 2 lines, but I love Gemma Chan from Crazy Rich Asians. I'm in love with her, actually. So she's definitely risen.
A lot of revelations in today's podcast,
right? She's definitely risen to top 5 in my celebrity crushes for sure over the past couple months. And then Lashana Lynch, who is Maria. which is Brie Larson's best friend, like Captain
Oh
Marvel's
yeah,
best friend.
yep, loved her.
She, I bring her up, not that she's a huge name or had a huge role, but more so because she was overacting her butt off. She was like, she's trying to get a role off of this. She's trying to definitely catapult from this role into something bigger because she was like giving it all she had in that. And I was like, all right, simmer down, honey. Like,
A for effort, though. A for effort.
A for effort, for sure. She was definitely giving it her all. So hopefully this shed some light on her talent and she gets another role because she definitely put it all into this one. Writer and director for the film, Anna Boden, who I guess most notably outside of this did It's Kind of a Funny Story. Have you ever seen that?
Mm-mm.
Then A Psychiatric Ward. Who is that? Zach Galifianakis. Is that Gwyneth Paltrow on that? I can't remember. Anyway, pretty good movie. It's kind of a funny story. All right.
Kind of. What was it called again?
The name of the movie is It's Kind of a Funny Story.
Oh,
it fell flat. It's all good. The runtime of Captain Marvel is 2 hours 4 minutes.
I was drinking my smoothie. It doesn't count. I wasn't paying attention.
So I guess we'll start with you. Opening the floor, what were your initial thoughts? I know that you aren't super ingrained into the Marvel universe and the stories, but that's, again, I asked you so to give a little insight to, I try to pair up my guests in the movies pretty nicely, and the reason behind asking you, even though you're not really ingrained in the Marvel universe or DC or superheroes in general, is because it came on International Women's Day. Yep. I know you're a strong, independent woman here in LA. Made the move here to LA from Miami, but then before that from Michigan. Came out here alone, and obviously now working a dream job at Nike. So, from that perspective, watching the movie, what were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was really great. Just seeing so many different women and in their different roles, and it was so cute. The little girl, she was, kind of admiring all the main characters and things like that. I don't know, girl power, I love it. But I thought it was a really good movie. I know Todd, we talked about it. I haven't really been into the movie scene recently too much, so it was kind of nice to get back into it. I really missed the movie theater buttered popcorn. That's really my main reasoning going to any movie. But yeah, I mean, I loved it. Obviously, it came out on International Women's Day, which I thought was really cool. And I'm excited to see. Todd kept us there the entire time after the credits, and we're like, why is this? And that's right, Avengers movies have that little blurb at the end. So Marvel movies.
It's all good. Avengers too. Avengers
are kind of
part of it, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think it was a good movie, but again, I'm not too movie savvy. I gotta hop back on the bandwagon.
No, that's fine. I mean, and you don't. I feel like you don't have to be like pro movie. I mean, I'm not a professional movie critic. I just do it for fun, but. But I feel like you have to be well versed in movies to be able to offer your opinion on a movie, because at the end of the day, it's all opinion, and the average consumer is not going to be someone who's just like watches all these movies all the time, like goes to movies weekly like I do. Like the average person doesn't do that. So
I thought the cat played a major role in the movie. For those who haven't seen it yet, don't cut that baby short. The cat is a main character.
Also, we can ruin the end of the film too. Like we're gonna talk through the whole movie. So if you're listening,
lead the way.
It's no big deal to drop spoilers. But so I guess I'll start with the ode to Stan Lee. So Stan Lee passed away a couple months ago, and obviously wrote a lot of the original comics for and came up with the ideation behind a lot of these superheroes, and it kind of just became the the Marvel mascot, if you will, or the face of Marvel, I should say. So and obviously his death was really tough for a lot of people. He inspired a lot of people, but anyway, I thought it was really cool. It's the first Marvel movie I've seen where at the beginning, when they have like the intro Marvel graphic, like Marvel Studios graphic at the beginning of the movie, usually it goes through like comic book style, like just flipping the pages of a bunch of different Marvel movies or comics, cartoons, whatever. And in this one, it was just a whole bunch of different shots of Stan Lee. So I thought that was awesome.
It was really nice.
A cool ode to him. And then he also made an appearance later on in the movie in the bus. I don't know if that's movie magic where they put him in there in post-production or if he was still alive when they actually filmed that scene. So either way, it was cool to see him. I know if they keep putting him in movies, I'm just gonna cry when they get, like, he just pops up in there, like, you know what I mean. So if they find a way to do that though in a tasteful way, that would be really cool. Also, as I'm watching, just really confirming that the action in Marvel movies, so much better than the DC films, excluding the Dark Knight from that. So the Batman trilogy, I'm excluding from these conversations because that was like amazing and historic. But outside of that one, with the new crap they're doing,
new crap they're doing.
I don't know what that is,
Todd.
man. It's fresh crap. That's what it is. But it's not. It's just not on par as far as the action. As far as a lot of things, but specifically here, the action in Marvel films is so much better. Do you think that old lady did her own stunts in this movie on the bus?
Oh, that was no, absolutely not.
I think it's.
I mean, her flexibility and her karate moves were. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, I never want to doubt anyone.
Yeah.
But those are pretty swift movements.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure.
Yeah, that was. She was not messing around. Captain Marvel or Carol was whipping butt in this movie.
Yeah, she was kicking.
She was not messing around. I mean, she came out guns blazing from the jump, even before she had like full access to her powers. But she was not messing around. I really like the action in this movie. Again, from the jump, it's still a setup movie or origin story, so it still was kind of slowish at parts as they try to develop the story and give you background on who she is and how she got her powers and all this stuff. But it still like added in quite a bit of action because some of these it's kind of slow to get to the punch.
Had some good humor too, here and there. I know that sometimes the movies are pretty serious and things like that, but they definitely had some humor. I'm a big fan of Iron Man's humor, so she
and
kind of sprinkled some in too.
Absolutely, I think Marvel, and one of my critiques on Marvel is that they added in too much sometimes. Like the humor is like, okay, some of these superheroes like don't need humor, and obviously Batman is DC, but like he's an example of a superhero where like I don't want to see humor in his movies, not that much because that's not. He's always been like a dark character. He's been dark, gloomy. So to see humor in that wouldn't be appropriate. I think they found like a good formula with the Iron Man movies and having Robert Downey Jr. like he just made Iron Man, and part of that is a large part of that was his humor. So they found a way to like add humor in a lot of these movies where I feel like they didn't in the past, and they're like, okay, this is working. This is like in order to reach a broader audience, and so that someone who like knows nothing about the universe, like DC or the Marvel universe, or anything like that, they can still appreciate the movie. So yeah, it's Brie Larson. What did you think about her performance?
So, fun story about Brie Larson. In 6th grade, I went to go see Jesse McCartney at the Royal Oak Music Theater, and Brie Larson opened up for him. I'm pretty sure. It was 6th grade? No.
Is she a singer?
Definitely a Brie Larson.
Okay.
We can Google it, maybe.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's search her. And I was in the front row because all the moms and the girls, we were like, first ones there. And I got her guitar pick. So I had a direct connection to Brie Larson. I wanted to save that for this because I know it was a little special detail to add. She said, see that? I don't know if that's the same Brie Larson, but that is her.
I did not know Brie Larson was a musician.
Yep. See, I'm bringing good content to this discussion.
What? Yeah, you are. I definitely learned something new. Did not know that.
Yeah, so I liked her character. I thought it was, she wasn't like, sometimes you see in these movies, like the woman in it, they're like trying to push like girl power, like she's the best ever. Yeah. And it was like she had humor to her, but she wasn't like too much in your face, but you could tell she was a very confident, strong individual and woman, and I liked her character. It was fun. I
like Brie Larson. I guess not as much as I thought I liked her. I didn't know that she was a singer.
She was a singer.
But I do like Brie Larson. As an actress, as Captain Marvel, I don't know how believable she was, like as a superhero. Like I don't know. It was almost like she didn't believe she was a superhero. Like it was just like a regular person. I don't know. It sounds weird. I don't know how to describe it, but she didn't give off like, for instance, like Captain Marvel. Like he is Captain Marvel. Like he plays that role well. it was believable. You know, with like I said, with Captain Marvel, it just kind of felt like an actress playing a role. As far
Yeah, I feel like through the movie she was always trying to find. She was always trying to figure out like where did she come from, like who, like is she?
Yeah.
So I think that, and I don't know if they did that on purpose, probably, but
Right.
it just didn't feel like she was like, I am Captain like, yes, this is me. It was more kind of like trying to find herself and where is she from and what are these memories that she can't remember and
Right.
you know, these flashes that she gets. So I agree with that.
Yeah, it was, and that might have actually been part of it too. Now that you say it, like there was supposed to be some type of like confusion and uncertainty in her character. So maybe that was intentional. Maybe that's what I'm picking up on. But yeah, it definitely felt like, okay, like when are you gonna like, you know, I don't know. It just didn't seem very like, you know, hero-esque. I don't know.
She wasn't no ScarJo.
No, I love Scarlett Johansson. Matti brings that up because I sent her a picture before comparing her to Scarlett Johansson because there's this one picture where she looks just like it's certain.
It's in college. It's like years ago. But
Yeah, I'm gonna find it. It was
a soft smile. We definitely.
It's a soft smile. They have the same soft smile, and the hair was I think similar at one point.
Yep. It was a shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah, wavy look.
Aren't you? You're bringing the bob back, right?
Can't say it anytime soon. No.
So we'll go. I think that we definitely saw some shops on the way up the street, so we can definitely stop over there. I'm not doing much this afternoon.
Like, you know what I mean? Let's spice it up.
Why not? Get some color in there.
I'm a Cali kid now. And we went to the Clippers Celtics game last night.
Yeah, that was dope.
And one of the girls in there was like, she was pink.
She had, I mean, that was
It was pink hair.
That was a bright pink too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like the pink where if you look too long, your eyes will hurt.
Yeah, I think we were kind of in the middle of it. It was like, did we love it?
I didn't hate it.
She was rocking it. Now if I went pink, I'm not sure if I'd love it.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be your look, but yeah, no. I'm fine with that. Like with the pink, honestly, any hair, like there's not like if you are confident in it, like that makes the style, in my opinion. Like
my dear friend Brooke Bird just once told me, like if you're confident in it and you're gonna rock it, like you're gonna kill an outfit. Like
100%. I agree.
Like I could wear anything, and if I'm like feeling confident, people are gonna be like, "Dang, that looks like that girl's popping."
Exactly.
But
right.
if I'm not feeling confident, then no. And I feel like this girl was like,
yeah,
I got pink hair, I'm killing it, I'm crushing it.
Yeah, salute to pink hair,
yeah,
girl, on the
salute.
suite. Yeah, I definitely think if you're confident doing something, like I'm with it. If you believe it, I believe it. Again, with acting, like if you believe the role, then I'm gonna believe it. But like if I pick up on you being like hesitant with the role, then I'm gonna shy away from it a bit. Mm-hmm. So obviously this movie, the biggest storyline with this movie is the female lead, female superhero coming out on International Women's Day, strategic. Marvel's being very strategic. I guess it's good business, but also part of it feels kind of like, I don't want to say slimy. It feels opportunistic. Like this movie comes out on International Women's Day. Year before, Black Panther, only Marvel movie to release in February because of Black History Month. So it's like, yeah, like they're doing it for, like, are you doing it for the culture or are you doing it to make money because like that's the demographic you're like marketing to? So like, and is that like a good business move or is that opportunistic? Like I don't know. I feel like there's like gray areas in that. I don't hate it. Again, I went and saw it opening weekend for both films actually. But just wanted to compare it to that because it's another Marvel film and because there's a lot of superhero movies that are speaking to marginalized groups. This one being women, Black Panther, African Americans, and having a full African American cast. And then Wonder Woman, which the one I'll compare this one to the most because that was another girl power female lead movie. So with that comparison, so right now we know that Captain Marvel has already eclipsed Wonder Woman for opening box office. Like it's 6 all time, not just Marvel movies, all time, or superhero movies for that matter, all time grossing opening weekend films.
The Captain Marvel that we just
Captain
saw?
Marvel that we just saw. Yep. So the
wow.
Numbers are in. Dope. Highest grossing film ever with a female lead. Ever.
Any movie.
Crazy.
Wow.
Now, obviously, this doesn't account for inflation. So, I mean, in 30 years, there'll be some like whack movie that probably like eclipses this one. it'll be something that beats it before, but like in 30 years it will. But obviously, like movie prices go up, so it's tough to account for some of those numbers. Like I think like all-time grossing film accounted for inflation, like opening weekend would be like Gone with the Wind, like when they put the numbers in and the science behind it. But without that, I think it's Avatar, so something like that. But yeah, just taking that into account. But
interesting.
This where I would put those. So again, I brought up this, Wonder Woman, and Black Panther. Recent years, obviously marketing to marginalized groups. I think that Black Panther did the best job, and you might have heard me say on this podcast before, I was not a huge fan of Black Panther the movie. I like what it did for the culture, and I thought that was really dope, and you know, all this stuff for the past year. And anyway, they I think Black Panther did the best job of speaking to that group, getting that group to come out and support, and just the movement. Like Black Panther, like that was a movement last year. Almost.
It was.
Like that moment when it came out. I mean, the ticket pre-sales, the records it broke, the celebrities coming out to support and literally sponsoring like groups and groups of like young inner city kids to go see the movie for free. Yeah. People showing up to the movie in dashikis. Like I mean, it was crazy movement. So I think that one did the best of speaking to that group. I think Wonder Woman did the best job of having the right actress play the role and just the all-around role. So Wonder Woman is a lot more popular than Captain Marvel. Like a lot of people, I didn't know Captain Marvel's story before going to the theater. A lot of times, like growing up, I was super into superheroes. Looked up all the information before if I wasn't already familiar with the comics. This one I just showed up. Like I didn't even look at the IMDb description. I was like, all right, like let's go. What do you have now, Marvel? So Wonder Woman, I think already with her existing fame, plus Gal Gadot just did a great job. I think that one did the best as far as like speaking to girls and just the hype around that one for female empowerment. And then I think this one, although it piggybacks off of that with another female lead, and like I said, it eclipsed the record for highest grossing film with a female lead. Brie Larson, I don't think did as good of a job with representing Captain Marvel as Gal Gadot did with Wonder Woman, but this was probably the best written film out of the three, in my opinion. I enjoyed this movie the best out of those three, I'd say. So they all have their pros and cons, but just wanted to compare those because those are the two movies that came to mind as I'm watching this. Did you see Wonder Woman? No.
Can't say that I did, but
you should watch.
No, and just going back to what you're talking about with being opportunistic and things like that. I mean, you know, working for a company like Nike now, you know, it's you really think about like who are you really trying to connect to,
right?
You know, whether it's specific ages or demographics and all these different things, and so. You know, I guess it is opportunistic, but again, at the same time, maybe, you know, you just see how, like, International Women's Day, like, I didn't even know what International Women's Day, like, years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know what day it was, I didn't know what you do on it, I didn't know, you know, really anything like that, and this year it was, like, a huge deal.
Right.
Like, he brought in, like, Diana Taurasi and a couple other people to speak to us, and it was just kind of, like, so empowering, and it, like, when I came to work the other day, people are like, oh my gosh, Monday, they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, we saw Captain Marvel over the weekend. It was like, girl power is awesome. It's so cool. So even that, I think it was, you know, just people are more cognizant of like, oh, it's International Women's Day. Oh, this movie, which again, opportunistic, but also I'm cool with opportunistic sometimes if it's getting us in the right direction, which I think is really important these days.
Right. So that's the thing is that like sometimes with companies, you know, you get upset or you question their intentions. But like you said, at the same time, as long as we get a good result out of it, sometimes it doesn't matter. So if this film, if Marvel did it, hey, like the guy who decided the date, if he was like, I don't care, I just want to make millions. Even if that was his intention, if there are like a ton of girls who feel empowered and who are now going to go out and dress up as Captain Marvel and are now more aware of International Women's Day and celebrating it, then I think that, okay, like I'll take that. So, yeah, no, I agree. It is awesome. And again, awareness of it. I didn't know about International Women's Day several years ago. I don't know how long it's been in existence, but I wasn't aware several years ago. Probably only made aware of it within the last like year or 2, 3 years maybe. I don't know if it's again. I can't even pinpoint when it started. I just wanted to bring that up. It was definitely a ton of intentional comments made throughout the movie and lines to let you know, like, hey, like, you know, women are strong, you know, we don't need, you know, that was kind of we don't need men, we don't need, you know, like, anyway, it wasn't even more so like, you know, men suck, women are great. That definitely wasn't the direction they were going, but just showing how, you know, through the movie, like I mentioned before, she didn't have her full access of powers. So when she was going through, and she always had her powers, but just not, you know, they were very limited. And then when she was able to access the full thing is when she realized, hey, with or without the powers, what makes me special is the fact that I'm persistent and that I get up and that I'm, you know, no matter how many times I get knocked down, I get up. So because of that, that then allowed her to use her superpowers. So I think that was obviously a larger theme for anyone, you know, whatever is holding you back, realizing that you're a lot more powerful than you think. So I thought that was really cool, and that's something that, again, a lesson that isn't just specific to women, but anyone watching the movie could get behind and relate to. So that was dope. What was I gonna say?
Are we going to talk about the little girl at all? Because I loved her.
You definitely talk about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just saw the little girl in the movie. It was really cool to have. What was her mother's name?
Maria.
Maria?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Maria and Carol, it's just really cool that she had these two women to look up to, and I think that's such a big deal. I mean, I remember when I was a little girl, you know, obviously you have your mom and grandmas and things like that, but I think it was pretty cool for the little girl to relate to Carol and be like, oh, this was like my best friend, and I kept all these pictures of you, and she really admired her and her powers, and I thought it was so cool that they kind of went off for a little bit.
Yep.
And then they came back, and the little girl was like, wow, you know, my mommy's so strong, and Carol, and all that stuff. So I thought that was a really cool part of the movie, too, just to kind of see how she was like, yeah, mommy, go get it. Like, go do it. Go follow your dreams. Like, this is something you've always wanted to do. You know, she's like, you used to do this crazy stuff, and that was dangerous. This is the same danger. I thought that was really cool that we kind of saw the little girl encouraging the older women in the movie too.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to kind of show the power of our youth and little girls and things like that, and how, you know, older women can inspire them, but also they're inspiring us too.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think, you know, I oftentimes tell people that about young people, about just listening to like youth. First of all, like the next generation, that's always the most important, because they're going to, a lot of industries are young people's industries, right? Mm-hmm. So the people who are making the difference, making the waves. I mean, we're young people. I mean, I'm saying it like, you know, like teenagers, but I mean, we're still young.
Yeah.
So
I don't call myself an old grown up yet.
No, yeah. I will literally refer to older people as grown-ups, as if I'm not one. Like,
I'm still like a 12-year-old.
Yeah, like, oh, he's an adult. Like, wait, I'm an adult. But yeah, no, I thought that was cool. I think there was a point in the movie, one thing I wrote down is when she mentioned that she was going to build a spaceship one day to go into space herself.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who it was in the movie who somewhat scoffed at it, like, oh, you're going to build a spaceship, and you know, say, well, you don't know, you don't know if she's going to do it or not, you know, or not. So in other words, don't put boundaries on her. Yeah. So I thought that was awesome. I always loved that, because I definitely believe that, you know, obviously you tell kids all the time you can be whatever you want when you grow up, and I believe that still to this day. Like, I mean, wholeheartedly, some people just say that because it's just cliche or just that's what you say to kids, but like, you really can, like, you know.
I mean, if you told us how many ever years ago we were sitting in class that we'd be where we are today,
no.
You're crazy.
No,
there's no way I'd be living in LA. No chance. No. It's insane.
Absolutely not. Yeah, no. And I've lived in 3 different cities since graduation. There's no way I would have thought, like, no, I'm staying like right around home. Like, I wouldn't stay. I'm always gonna be within the drive of my parents. Like, yeah. So there's a ton. It's funny how life changes up, but absolutely, I think that you don't know, and you don't want to put boundaries on kids, on anyone, but especially kids when they're impressionable. That was cool.
And I think it's so important too for them to see. This is way off topic, but I think it's so important for them to see people doing what they want to do one day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I think it's just so cool when little kids, because I never had this, can see someone in their industry. Like, I never saw females in the sports industry when I was younger. Right. So I really didn't have too many people to look up to, because I didn't see anyone in the positions that I wanted to do one day. Right. So I think it's really cool that this movie is like, wow, like, if I want to create a spaceship and I'm a girl, I can do it. Or I want to create this and do that. Or I want to be a superhero. You know, you can all do those things, but it takes us seeing people like this in the movies
Right.
to say, hey, yeah, that can be me one day.
Right. 100%. So yeah, I thought it was really cool. Another thing that was like an underlying like tune of the movie, again, with women being oppressed and, you know, with her powers. So again, going back to her powers and how she didn't have the full control of her powers. The reason that they kept telling her that the guy who was like her commander.
Squirrel. There's a little squirrel up there.
I thought it was in this apartment. I was going to flip out. It was you know how, you know what's funny is when I see squirrels getting sidetracked for a second. When I see squirrels that aren't in Michigan or on Michigan State's campus, and I'm like, that squirrel is so small
Skinny.
compared to what
We have very skinny.
those cats that we have at Michigan
Yep,
State. Those
yep.
things are the size of cats, and the fact that they come right up to you because people feed them. So those things will be like right next to your foot, and you know usually you get within like 10 feet of a squirrel and it goes sprinting up a tree. These things will be right up on you. So.
Just another important thing to talk about: squirrels all over the world and their faith and demographics.
Who runs the world? Squirrels.
Off topic.
But yeah. Oh, so her powers. So her like commander in chief or whoever who ended up being like evil at the end. We're finding out that he was, you know, they did the double cross type deal. He was telling her that the reason that she could not control her powers fully is because she couldn't keep her emotions in check, and how she wouldn't be as successful in as a soldier if she kept letting her emotions run wild. So that's something that I feel like that's a jab that's taken a lot towards women, which is just.
I will gladly plug the new
Go
Nike
ahead.
campaign that we have out there, so go check it out. But I mean, Serena Williams
cool.
narrates it, and it talks about how, oh, we're too emotional, or we're called dramatic, or if we cry, we're a hot mess, or we do this, and I like remember you kind of hit the nail on the head with what I was going to say too, is he kept saying like, control your emotions, and that was just super interesting to kind of see that comparison.
Yep.
And again, a lot of companies out there are doing that and kind of empowering women to like just be who you are, and men too. Like if Todd, if you want to cry on my shoulder, I am here for you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I haven't seen anyone cry as much as Colton on The Bachelor when you all had it on last night.
Whoa, yeah.
I don't watch The Bachelor, first of all. But or The Bachelorette.
We just watched clips last night.
But there were clips on that they had, and I was here and subject to them, and I see this guy crying every clip. I'm like, oh my! I mean,
he was breaking up with these women.
He was breaking down,
and then he was breaking up, then breaking down, and the women who were being heartbroken and hey, I'm leaving you, were like consoling him. So it was definitely an interesting role reversal there.
I'm using that move. I swear I'm going to use that move. I'm going to start crying when I'm breaking up with someone, and then get that pity. Yeah, see what happens. Like, I'd probably be a video of me on like Twitter, like this loser broke up with me and started crying, and it's like, dang, it really backfired. But
if Colton wants to be emotional and that's how he is, then
do your thing, Colton.
Right?
Do your thing.
We're not going to put boundaries on people, but
absolutely no. Cry, bawl your eyes out. So that comment throughout the movie, and I start picking up on it, like, okay, like they did it, they sewed it in nicely. They sewed it in nicely for us to.
It wasn't degrading. It wasn't. It didn't feel anything like that. You could definitely tell, like, oh, control your emotions. Your emotions are too much. It was like, okay, that's something that women hear, and I mean even some men hear. I mean, everyone's different. There's some people who are stone cold, and some people are I can cry at anything. It's so bad.
Right. And what was good about it is that was a good point. It wasn't degrading, but but it was that's
right.
And then you realize how subtle comments that people will be like, "What? I didn't say anything wrong," or "Oh, I didn't mean it like that," and it's like, no, you don't realize how offensive some of these things you're saying really are until you hear it back on a movie, or you hear it back and you're like, "Oh wow!" Like that's something that you hear people say all the time in commonplace. Whether it be people say that in the workplace as if it's acceptable, and it's totally inappropriate. So again, calling those things out, and I said this on another podcast how a lot of movies echo real world issues a lot of the times, which I think is important. You don't want to go to a movie and see a cartoon and they're talking about politics. Like, no, you don't want to see that. But again, just to echo, there are issues, and sometimes they're tough to talk about. But maybe you put it in a cartoon or a movie like a superhero movie, where it's more palatable in a way for kids to understand it too, so they can start seeing that and understanding it. If think about it, you're a kid growing up right now. over the course of the last, even in the music industry, whatever the surge, you're seeing a ton of minorities and women kind of taking over a lot of these industries or being in really prominent spots. So that's really cool to see like that generation come up. And this is what they're seeing. They're seeing Captain Marvel as like, some kids will remember Captain Marvel was the first movie that my parents took me to go see or that my dad took me to go see. And, and Black Panther. And we went and saw Wonder Woman. We got that on DVD for Christmas. So a lot of these memories that are foundational, honestly. So that's really cool. I really like that. And I do like this movie, and I think it was the best out of those three that I just named and keep going back to.
Yeah, side note on that, something that I thought was really cool is that we'll call them the Krolls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool that kind of like the male lead Kroll was the one who told Carol like, we need you, we need your help, we need you to use your powers the way that you are meant to use your powers. Where the Jude Law in the movie was kind of like suppressing her, control your emotions, don't use your powers, things like that. Where that other lead male character for the Krolls was like, no, we need you to help. So that was kind of cool to see that empowerment as well. Like, a male in the movie saying, to this female, hey, we need you. Right. You know what I mean? So that was kind of a cool role reversal too.
Yeah, and exactly. So you see it from both sides. One's trying to suppress, one is trying to tell her to like unleash all her powers.
And empower her.
And again, the emotion comment, seeing that by being empathetic and emotional is actually what unlocked her powers. The fact that all she needed to do was believe in herself, and then her empathy, which allowed her to see the side of the of the Krolls, and obviously they're the ones being oppressed and ran out of their homelands. And without that empathy, then she probably wouldn't have cared and wouldn't have taken the next step to help them, and then therefore would have never unleashed her full powers or potential. So, seeing how what was once told was a weakness to her was actually
her strength.
So again, they and this isn't a new concept or something that we've seen for the first time ever in a movie. But again, it's all about how you write it and how you set it up. So I think they set it up nicely. And then again,
I think like anyone across the board though could like see these things and understand these things. Like not just our age 100%. People. It was like little girls could like watch it and see that happening, or people who are older than us could see that happening. Right. So I thought that was really cool that it kind of communicated to everyone across the board, not just one specific group of people. Right,
100%. So, yeah, it was a good movie. I didn't even talk about, or haven't even talked about yet, because I think this is kind of secondary, how it connects to the full Marvel Universe and Avengers Endgame. It's setting up that she will be the one, the missing link, I guess, to help defeat Thanos, which Endgame comes out next month. So that's what it looks like. And I do wonder if, and I know that they don't follow the comic books exactly, and I'm 100% not even sure how the comic books ended up and how they finished this storyline there, but I do wonder if Captain Marvel was always intended to be the one that was the savior, so to speak, or the one that comes in and helps, or if that was written in over the last couple of years with this movement of female empowerment. I wonder, I don't know if this was always like a foresight 10 years ago, 11 years ago when they started this storyline with Iron Man and then added, all these other pieces and all these other superheroes.
That's a good question.
I would guess that she wasn't always going to be the one. I would guess that. And
I agree.
And I'd say that they probably wrote it in, which is smart, to write it in and have her being the one that kind of saves things. So, interesting. There's no concrete answer, and I'm sure we won't get one. I'm sure if we ask them, they'll say, yeah, we had this thought of all the time. But curious about that, something to think about. Also, how she got her name in this one with Doc. I guess the person that she looked up to and who was her idol in the movie was Doc Marvel. So that's how she came up with Captain Marvel. So that I thought that was kind of like cute, clever, whatever. So yeah. So all in all, what would you give this movie, scale of 1 to 10?
Oh.
You can use decimals.
Maybe like a 7.
Okay.
Generous. Like, I think it was a good movie. Was it the best thing I've ever seen in the world? Probably not.
Right.
But I still thought it was a really good movie, good message, and it was executed well.
Yep.
But not my favorite movie.
Yep.
Still good.
Agree. So obviously it had a lot of praise for it. But I would put it at 7.3. A good, again, yeah, I had the 0.3 on there. It was a good movie. It wasn't wildly creative, and Marvel kind of has stuck to this similar script for each movie. Like, you kind of know how it's going to end. Slightly different stories, some humor sprinkled in there, but they're getting kind of lazy with it. I love Disney, but Disney, now that they own...
dare say anything bad about Disney.
I know. I love Disney. Trust me. I mean, I'm a huge Disney advocate, fan, whatever. But now that they own Marvel and then also the Star Wars franchise, I feel like they're kind of milking it a bit, and they're getting kind of lazy with the writing. Again, the movies are good. Again, 7.3, good movie. It didn't blow me away. It wasn't crazy unique. Like I said, I didn't even, when I was a kid, like I said, looking up the backstory for these superheroes and getting super excited. I still do with the X-Men movies. The X-Men, I love the X-Men movies. But the rest of them, they're kind of the same thing. It feels like. So I go to the movie. I'm excited. Went opening weekend, but I didn't know much about it going into it, and didn't do the research like I did previous. So the excitement around them is less because they're pumping them out so much.
Yeah.
There's this is out this year. Avengers Endgame is coming out next month. Spider-Man Far Away From Home is coming out later this year. I'm probably missing some others. I wouldn't be shocked if there's one or two. Oh, Phoenix, which I guess that's Sony owns that faction, X-Men, whatever. But Dark Phoenix comes out, which I'll be at opening weekend. Like I said, I love the X-Men stories.
Midnight showing.
I'll be there like Thursday midnight showing for sure. But yeah, 7.3. What would you give this on? Or what would you suggest to someone to either go see it opening night, $5 Tuesday, Netflix, or don't watch it all?
Oh, I'd say maybe a $5 Tuesday. Like I mean,
that's what I had as well. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, opening weekend, I was like, it just worked out that we were all here together,
Right.
so we all saw it. Nothing like really takes me to the movies unless it's like, wow.
Right.
So I'd say like a $5 Tuesday. I wouldn't wait till Netflix. I think it was a good one. I would go check it out and absolutely see it. So I'd say I'd go with $5 Tuesday.
Agreed. Yep, that's exactly where I put it.
We're like twins, Todd.
I'm about to get my hair like yours.
Oh, gosh.
We'll both get the pink hair. Any upcoming movies that you're particularly excited about?
I'm going to steal maybe one of yours, but Lion King.
Yeah.
I'm a Disney girl, so I'm really excited to see a couple of those movies come out. And I feel like our childhood was like Lion King and Dumbo and Bugs Life and like all these
Bugs Life.
Tarzan. I love Bugs Life.
I do too.
They just took away like Bugs World or whatever.
Wait, what?
At Disneyland, they used to have like a Bugs Life.
Yeah,
land.
they took it away.
They took it away to put Marvel Land in. So
how dare they?
I know, how dare they, but also
cool.
just kids don't appreciate it as much anymore because they didn't grow up with Bugs Life like
that's
we
true.
did.
I mean, that's
Shout
true.
out Bugs Life.
You gotta update. Dang it.
I know. So I'd say Lion King. There's probably a lot of other ones. I hate to say this. I don't watch like TV like I used to. So
right. I'm excited to see. I'm nervous but excited to see Aladdin.
Oh yes.
I want Aladdin to be good. I really do. With all my heart, I want it to be good.
Do we know who's
I'm
in that
nervous.
yet?
I'm nervous for it. As far as actors,
Yeah.
I mean, I know Will Smith, and then everyone else, I don't really know who it is. I don't really know who those people are. They have the whole, obviously, the cast list out, but I'm not familiar with their work, so it's kind of like I know Will Smith is Genie, which I've expressed concern on this podcast before for that, but hopefully they do a good job with it. Other than that, I feel like there might be some other movies that I'm blanking on right now, but yeah. So that's all I had, Tilda. That's all I had. We got right to the meat.
It was good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we could obviously go on for hours, so if we have fun questions, we can hit those up for our fans out there.
Do we have any callers? So
call Mom up. She'll give us some questions.
Oh man, that'd be great. So I appreciate you allowing me to be your roommate this week, and for recording here, and for being my guest this week.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been so good to see you.
It's been amazing.
Everything in LA, and it was great going to movies and checking it out. And thanks for chatting with me on this. I love it.
Absolutely. All right. Peace out, everyone. Until next week.
Deuces.